can we all collectively agree that this is the most hateable character of Spring of Anime 2021? I mean, just look at that smug face while she literally puts an arrow in March. Like, words cannot even begin to describe my disgust and hatred for her as a character. Now, she's a good character. She gets the job done right, don't get me wrong. But holy crap, do I not like her. Like, honestly, like, my rage towards the character is, like, it's in a similar threshold, at least with Rachel. Like, I'm gonna be honest here, just, like, everything about the character since she was introduced, and we saw March introduced, and you saw how she's being very scummy, leading March along a path to basically give up her life in episode 2 and onward, and then this, and then she's like, oh, you don't matter in the previous episode, she could die at any point, and this, it's just like, oh my goodness, like, seriously, the writer definitely wanted us to hate the character so much, because, literally, I don't like her, like, I don't, like, she's doing her job right, but just, because, like, you're gonna tell me, okay, you just hear me out, you're gonna tell me, now we're gonna have the boy, in the first episode, die thanks to, you know, an injury in his leg, which makes sense because of the constant walking and not resting and all that, not, you know, having enough time to properly heal. And then you're gonna tell me March gets shot by an arrow, and then she dies, but then you have this woman, she literally gets clawed by a giant, like, 2-story, 3-story house-sized bear, and she gets back up, and then she gets impaled with an arrow at the end of the latest episode, and let's be 100%, she's not dead. She's not gonna die from it. She's not. Because for that to just be a whole thing with you seeing how the girl cries and she's like, I actually missed and all that, she wasn't able to finish it, it basically represents that that character is gonna come back. She isn't done. She isn't finished. She will eventually return to the story, which just angers me to no end. Like, the plot armor on this character is unreal. But okay, mini rant done. I'm sorry, just the character really got me. It's got me heated. It's really got me heated. So, wow, these past 2 episodes of To Your Eternity have definitely been spicy. I mean, I think anyone at this point that watched the previous episode and this episode before, obviously, the event with March, felt the death flags. I mean, I felt the death flags coming from a mile away from episode 2 and 3, especially after, you know, he got pretty much captured and he was being dragged off to their hometown. It was very clear that, you know, something was going to happen to March eventually, or these characters, and it happened, and even though I saw it coming, it was very apparent it was gonna happen, I still got very upset. It hit me, because I was just like, what really hit me about the death scene wasn't the fact that she died, it was the fact that after she died, and seeing the reactions from Fu, and then basically her older sister reacting like they did, and then you see the whole spiritual section where you see actually March somehow out of a body experience, looking at her body, and then looking at the person she cares about, and then Fu, and she's like, hey, don't do this, don't do this. She's literally about to end it all, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like, is this really about to happen? And, like, this spirit of this, you know, this kid is about to actually see all of this go down. That's when everything hit me like a truck. Like, everything hit me hard, and I was just like, wait a minute, this cannot be happening, this cannot be happening, this cannot be where it's gonna go. But thankfully, we have Fu come in, and he did stop her from going that far and committing that act, and she does get to live on, at least from what we know so far. She might die, who knows, but at this point, she is getting to live on. And that leads into the discussion I want to talk about. So, we saw an instance of March in an out-of-body experience, and we actually see a bear that is there, which is very clear that that bear isn't actually Fu. So it makes me wonder if everyone that he turns into, and when he shapeshifts, he actually keeps their soul with him, like they still manage to live on beside him. That's what I feel like is going on, because when I think about the bear scene, and when you think about March, and when you think about the boy, maybe they are there with him. For instance, as he continues to march along for years upon years and millennia, those others will still be with him. Their souls will still be able to be there, and maybe one day he might be able to interact with them. It's very fascinating. I wonder if that's where the story is trying to navigate towards, like if it's letting us know that eventually he will be able to communicate with those that have died. If so, that's fascinating. fascinating. That's an interesting direction to take the story, but I could be completely wrong. Maybe it was just a one-time event of just, March having an out-of-body experience, and before she fully passed away, she was just watching what was going down, and her feelings kind of resonated and hit Fu before, she eventually passed. But whatever the case may be, what an episode, what an arc, what a series, honestly. To Your Eternity really is emotional. I think I knew. I knew this series would hit me. I felt it. I knew when I read the first chapter of the manga many years ago. But just seeing it animated and see everything going down, it's really different. It really hits differently. And I cannot wait to see how far this series is willing to go. And speaking of which, I want to talk about Fu and his adaptability, him learning and all that. And he's getting better. He's definitely getting better with learning of how to be more human-like. I mean, we see how he manages to learn how to talk a little bit and express emotions a lot better. You literally see him start to say it hurts, and it's such a very messed up way to demonstrate that he started to understand what pain was, because he heard someone else say it hurts, and he just started repeating it over and over, and eventually he came to the conclusion of understanding what it meant to be in pain, and it hurts. And then thank you for when, he was happy, etc. And he learned the understanding or meaning of some of these emotions if he didn't even understand the full weight of what the words were. And on top of that, I do think it's fascinating how he's able to create weapons and not actually flesh and body, which I guess it kind of makes sense. We see him when he transforms into the boy, he has the clothes appear as well. So it's been clear that he can make objects, but just seeing him literally create spears in different weapons from his body while he was in his human form is scary, because you can imagine how powerful he could be in the future. Let's just take a moment to think if he was in modern day, okay? Let's just say right now our main character Fu got fast forwarded to today's age, and he got to experience today's life. Imagine what he would be capable of if he was thrown into a war-like environment. He would literally be able to create all sorts of weaponry, some scary stuff, out of nothing. I could not begin to imagine how absolutely frightening that could be. He literally can become a war machine. And that is something I think is eventually going to happen. I think that's kind of the glimpse we got to peek at with these episodes, is that as he continues to become more and more human, eventually he's going to realize that people are going to want to hurt him, and he's going to have to defend himself. And he's already learned how to kill, but he doesn't understand the meaning of what killing is. And since he technically doesn't actually die, he might not truly fully understand what it means to die, or death itself, the actual meaning of that. So I'm curious to see how far he's going to tumble until he's able to pick himself up back again, because I really think that he's going to go down a route eventually where he's just going to be able to snap people's lives out like nothing and not even think anything about it. I feel like that's where the story is gearing us towards, is eventually he's going to come to that conclusion. Anyone that stands in his way is just straight up dead. Even if they're kind, just he'll end them right then and there. So that is a frightening depiction of what maybe the story might lead to, but I could be wrong. Still, though, I think, though, this series has proven itself that it's easily one of the best series of Spring of Anime 2021. Non-stop, high-octane episodes that just get my blood pumping. I mean, look, I came in ranting about a character, and it's a good thing for me to rant about a character, because it's like, it means the writer's doing a good job with really making you have emotions for certain events, and that shows. It shows quality writing. So I'm happy about everything I have felt from this series, the sadness to the anger to the happiness, everything about it. I do wonder what's next for the story, though. I mean, apparently from the preview, the old woman is going to be taking care of him and actually teaching him how to be more human, like eat, speak, write, which I can't wait to see what his first words are when he actually writes. But also, he apparently comes in contact with some form of supernatural entity in the next episode preview, so we're probably going to get a little bit more understanding of where he came from, and maybe if he actually is fully immortal or not. But that's pretty much about it, though. It's a good episode. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it as much as I did. I know I had so much fun, and I'll see you guys next week for the next episode, and just Yeah, all of you stay safe, stay healthy. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And with that, guys, Chibi out.